record store visit Rewind today, and we are talking about December 10th, 2019, right before the pandemic hit. And I was in Los Angeles, and I was going to have dinner with my friend Monique down in Santa Monica. I had a couple of hours not a couple of hours, like a little bit of time to kill. And I decided to hook on over to Record Surplus. Hadn't been there in quite a while, so it was good to kind of stop in. It's a really great store, very spacious, well organized. They have an awesome like bargain section over in the corner, which I think they call it like the attic or something like that. I think they give it like this name, but it's all like, you know, stuff for like $1 or what have you. And I'm digging through, and I found some stuff. Then I went into the bargain section and found a handful of things there. And I bring my stuff up to the register, and am just completely taken by surprise, shocked to see Ronnie from the Muffs as the cashier. And I was like, holy moly, like, oh, you know, and I'm sure he kind of saw that I was kind of like taken aback, because I'm a big fan of the band, as if you watched any of these videos in the past, you would know. And it was also, you know, 2 months after Kim Shattuck had passed away. So, you know, it was just such a bizarre thing to see him there. I had no idea he worked there, but he was really cool, and we talked for a little while. I didn't really want to bother him too much. I even when I see people like that, I try to, you know, stay away. I just kind of let them have their thing. But, you know, he's working. It was sort of like an okay situation to kind of strike up a conversation. And like I said, he was really cool about it and gracious enough to like take a photo, which, you know, again, I just kind of felt a little weird, but I just kind of was like in a bit of a daze, because it just really caught me off guard. But it was cool, you know, running into him and talking to him and letting him know how much the band and Kim meant, you know, to me and everything. But anyways, that's not really what we're here. We're here to talk about Record Surplus, a great store. If you're in Los Angeles, I highly recommend you go check them out. And here's what I picked up that day in December 2019. 1973, we get Judy Sill's record, Heart Food. I discovered Judy Sill through the film Greenberg, which I like quite a bit, and the actress Greta Gerwig did a cover of her song There's a Rugged Road in that film, and I really like that, and that's kind of what, you know, introduced me to Judy Sill. Had never heard of her before that, and I had the song digitally, and then I saw this there in Record Surplus and decided to give it a shot. I mean, I bought it used. I don't remember what I paid for it, but I don't think it was too much. Very kind of like 70s folk, kind of rock, pop kind of music. She has a really good voice. Really kind of a tragic story. Like afterwards, you're like, oh, I wonder whatever happened to her. And then you look up online and you kind of read her history and find out that she kind of got deep into drugs, had a pretty troubled life, and passed away, I think in 79, it seems, from like a drug overdose, I guess. And the weird thing was she died on Morrison Street in North Hollywood, which was like 2 blocks from where I lived when I lived in North Hollywood, which was, I don't know, just something kind of odd about that too, that it was so close there. But it's a really good record. I think this is her only album. I think maybe they've put out like a release of like unreleased stuff, or maybe stuff demos she was working on for another album, I guess. But I'm pretty sure this was her only album. But I really like it. And if you like that 70s kind of like California folk kind of pop, I think you'd really dig this if you're not familiar with it. Aside from There's a Rugged Road, the other tracks on here I really like are The Donor, When the Bridegroom Comes, Soldier of the Heart, and The Vigilante. It's got a lot of these like song titles with the whatever, the Kiss, the Pearl, the Vigilante, the Phoenix, the Donor. But like I said, really good record. The weird thing is like the version of There's a Rugged Road that I have, there's some really good liner notes in here too. The version I originally had is different than the one that's on this album. I don't know if, you know, the one I have originally is, you know, an earlier version or what. but yeah, I kind of like the other version I had of it a little better than the one that's on this record. And the other thing with the CD that I noticed this time listening to it is that some of like her high notes, they kind of distort a little. I don't know if it's, you know, this transfer of this record or if the original recording was always like that. I mean, I think this was kind of like a more recent, it's so dark you can't even read, 2000, this version was put out in 2005. So I don't know if it's the songs were originally recorded that way and it's just that's the way it is, or if something happened in the transfer in this, because there's a couple of times I noticed, who knows, maybe it was my headphones. I could be just saying all this and stuff for no point whatsoever. 1999, we get Dressy Bessie and Pink Hearts, Yellow Moons. She's out of Denver, Colorado. First became aware of her through a song that I got through like a sampler a handful of years ago. I thought she was a new artist. I wasn't aware that she'd been around so a while. I think this is her debut, 99. But I found this in their dollar bin, dollar section, bargain section I was talking about. $1, you know, was really thrilled to see this. They write like catchy pop songs, kind of alternative, really catchy stuff though. Really like this. It surprises me that she's not more popular because the songs are so accessible and catchy and everything, and you know, it's just surprising that she hasn't had like an album that really kind of, you know, took off, whatever. But I really like this. Some of the tracks on here I like are I Found Out, Look Around, Little TV, Jenny Come On, and Extraordinary is really good too. I mean, most of these tunes I really like, you know. I'm looking at this track list, My Marianne's really good too, but I like this record quite a bit. And I've picked up in the last like year or so, I've picked up a lot of the catalog, and they're all the same. They're all very catchy, poppy, kind of really, you know, hooky kind of songs, but really cool. Dressy Bessie. Speaking of catchy tunes, 1994, we get Frente and Marvin the Album. I should have looked, I don't know what the significance of Marvin the Album is or why it's called that. This is a band out of Australia, I think Melbourne to be specific. Same thing like Dressy Bessie, very catchy, like kind of pop songs, alternative. I think they only put out 2 records. They, you know, had some like minor success here, I think. I first became aware of them, I believe there was a compilation back in the mid-90s. There were all these compilations, I guess, kind of trying to kind of appeal to our youth. There was like the, you know, the Schoolhouse Rock compilation where they had different alternative bands do covers of the Schoolhouse Rock songs, and then there was the one that they were on, which was like called Saturday Morning, and it was all these different alternative bands covering Saturday morning cartoon theme songs and stuff. And they did, it wasn't a theme song, but they did a cover of the song from the Flintstones called Open Up Your Heart and Let the Sun Shine In. And it's really good. I really like it. I think it's the best thing on that album, really. I just never thought to dig into this band at all, as much as I like that song. And I saw this there. I think I may have gotten this in the dollar bargain bin as well. And it's a really good record. I mean, I would have loved this at the time. I mean, I love it now. Some of the tunes on here that I really dig are Girl, Labor of Love, which I think is the one that got played a bit on radio here in the United States. No Time, Accidentally Kelly Street, Dangerous. And then they do a cover of the New Order song Bizarre Love Triangle, which is pretty good. But yeah, really good stuff, you know. I'd be curious to check out their other record, just to see what that sounds like, see if it's the same. All kinds of little drawings and stuff in here. Really good, surprised me. Didn't know what to expect with this one, and I really enjoyed it. 1992, we get Los Lobos' album Kiko, and it turns out this is their best-selling record, aside from the La Bamba soundtrack, which I guess they had maybe, you know, a handful of songs on, but you know, this is their best-selling record. Surprisingly, I think it just went gold. It didn't go platinum or anything. I would have thought that they would have had a few more that sold better than that. But it's a really good record. I think I heard title track Kiko and the Lavender Moon on like radio or something and looked it up and was like, oh, it's Los Lobos, and decided to pick it up. I think I had one other Los Lobos album at that time. Now I've got a few more, but it's really good. I really enjoyed it. Some of the tracks here that I dug, besides the title track, Kiko and the Lavender Moon, are Whiskey Trail, Two Janes, Short Side of Nothing, When the Circus Comes, Reva's House, Saint Behind the Glass, That Train Don't Stop Here, and Wake Up Dolores is another one. But yeah, great record. Really have just recently really been getting into Los Lobos. I kind of slept on them early, and now I'm kind of catching up. 1994, we get Bad Religion and Stranger Than Fiction. But I think this was my introduction to the band, this album, because the song 21st Century Digital Boy was played a lot on the radio. You know, if you're not familiar with Bad Religion, they're kind of this kind of melodic, kind of hardcore punk sort of sound to them, I guess. This, I think, is like their 8th like full-length album, which surprised me, you know, when I saw that. Originally, I thought this was their debut, and then I sort of knew that maybe they had a little bit of stuff before that, but I didn't realize how much stuff they had before that. I think I have like one more album by them, and then just a handful of like digital tracks. Little brain. But I think this is the first of theirs to chart like on the Billboard chart, and I think this is like their major label debut. I'm pretty sure I got this in the dollar bargain section over there. But aside from 21st Century Digital Boy, the other tracks on here that I really like are What It Is, Marked, Hooray for Me, Television, which that features Tim Armstrong from Rancid actually, Infected, and the title track Stranger Than Fiction. But again, really good record. I like this. Maybe some people are a little tired of it, but I'm not. I like it. 2011, we get the second album from Florence and the Machine, Ceremonials. I first was introduced to Florence and the Machine. A friend of mine, Asia, she had the first CD by Florence and the Machine and let me borrow it, and I really liked it. And then picked up my own copy. And I think I had like a burned copy of this for a while, and then when I saw this there at Record Surplus, decided to pick up my own. I think some people have compared her to Kate Bush a little bit, and I can definitely see that. Her voice, the kinds of songs she's doing, the production, you know, the dramatic sort of element to it all certainly reminds you of Kate Bush. Her first 2 records I really like. I remember I used to get Blender magazine. I'm not sure if you remember them, but it was a great like music magazine. And I remember they would highlight tracks like every issue. And I remember the first time that I'd ever come across or heard of Florence and the Machine, they listed them there, and their song Kiss with a Fist. I remember they like compared it to like made it sound like this is like a new Joan Jett, which kind of intrigued me. And then when I heard the record, I was like, Joan Jett, like, what are you guys talking about? But that was kind of bizarre. But her first 2 records are really good. The ones after that I have, and there's a couple of tracks that I like, but on a whole, I find them a little weaker than these first 2 records. But this is, like I said, a great record. Lots of good tunes on here. Some of my favorites are No Light, No Light, Spectrum, All This in Heaven 2, Only If for a Night, Shake It Out, Never Let Me Go, and Breaking Down. So that is Florence and the Machine, and that is the end of my pickups at Record Surplus back in 2019. Looking forward to the day when I can get back out to Los Angeles and stop in again. Like I said, I hadn't really been there in a while, but I feel like now it's going to be part of my regular little circulation of stores that I hit up whenever I'm out there. So thanks again for watching. By all means, let me know your thoughts if you've been to Record Surplus, your kind of stories from the place, or what you've picked up there. And by all means, like, subscribe, all that stuff. And I'll see you next time. Thanks again for watching.